Okay, so I was saying, okay, when we are looking at the pull factors, we are looking at the positive part of the question, okay? It implies that these people have already settled there, okay? People have already come, now they are settling. So when they ask, why did the Arabs settle at the coast of East Africa? I expect you to write the positive part of it, okay? The positive part of the point. Reason being, is already there. They came, they looked at the environment, the climate, the weather was fine, the trade was going on, everything was booming, they intermarried, etc. Okay? Which implies that all things you are going to write about the pool, they have to be positive. Okay? They have to be positive because we are writing things which made them like to stay in that area. Okay? You came from Kabale, you went to Mbale. Reaching Mbale, you see the conditions, you see the weather, you see the trade, you see everything, you see the environment, and you feel like, yes, I can stay in Mbale. So expect you to write the pull factors, and they're going to be positive. Okay? What are those positive things which have made you stay in Mbale and you don't want to go back to Kabale, where you came? You came from, which means you talk about only the good things which are there. Okay? When it comes to push, when it comes to push factors, these ones we said they are negative. Okay? Those ones we said they are negative. In which aspect? In the aspect of saying, we say that these ones are negative. In the aspect of saying that we are writing about the bad, okay, the inconsistency, the unfavorable things which happened in their homeland and forced them to move to another place. Reason being, they never knew what is in those places. All right, okay, so that's why we move on that aspect. Right now here, we can do whatever we do. You call and say, I want to come, I'm going to Kabale. Hey, Mr. Bayman, do you know what is in Kabale? Hey, have you ever gone there? Which hotels will I find? Which one is good? They tell you. If I want to go this, where should I go? They tell you where to go. But people of those days, no technology at all. You just walk on foot. Imagine, are you getting it? Now you can drive off 3 hours, 4 hours, you're in Mbarara. But imagine walking from Kampala going to Mbarara. You may not even reach Mbarara. You find yourself in Lyantonde and you feel like I can settle here. The environment is conducive for me. So you end up remaining that side. Are you getting it? So that is how the things are supposed to be done. Is it okay? So from there, those are the push and the pull factors. Hope they are clear and very fine in that aspect. Is it okay now? Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So
yes, teacher.
Okay, so now we move to the gist. I want to look at the rebellions. Someone talked of the rebellions in East Africa. When I talk about rebellions, there are some aspects we look at in particular, okay? There are some things we look at in particular when it comes to rebellion. These ones, we are done. And hope there will be no confusion at all in this aspect. Somehow. Okay, so rebellions. When we come to rebellions, we have many of them. Okay, we have many of them. we have the Abushiri, we have the Hehe, we have the Majimaji, we have the Nandi, and lastly we have the Mau. Let's have the Mau Mau. These are the 5 rebellions in East Africa. Okay? So when answering rebellions, we have to put in mind and we know, first of all, is this rebellion a primary rebellion or a secondary rebellion? Is it a primary resistance or a secondary resistance? So you can stop this with the word resistance. Okay? So before we look at the deep of the rebellions, I've told you we have two aspects. We have the primary and we have the secondary. Okay? So what do we imply by the word secondary? What do we imply by the word primary? Okay? When we come to these resistances, when we are talking about the primary bit of it, this implies that people still had everything belonging to them. Are you getting it? All the things they had belonged to them. And these people were coming in to take things away from them. We get an example for primary resistance among the causes. And the example, the point we have is land. Okay? We're going to use an example of land, then independence, and then we'll talk about culture. As an example, to differentiate between the primary and the secondary part of it. So primary, this implies everything, you have it, someone wants to take it away, so the only option you have is to find ways of fighting and gain and stay with what you have. When it comes to secondary, in secondary resistance, this implies that everything you had is taken. Okay? It's no longer yours. People have taken it away. So you are fighting to gain back what belonged to you. Am I clear on that? Are we clear on that aspect? Okay?
Yes, teacher.
Primary, you have it, somebody wants to take it, so you are fighting to remain with what is yours. When it comes to secondary resistance, you had it, they took it, now you are fighting to get it back. Okay? So those are that's where the difference is. What we normally do, because you know that we have general causes of rebellions, for the moment they set the question, you answer the rebellions the way you want, forgetting that you have to differentiate what is primary and what is secondary. Okay? When you talk about resistances in East Africa. So, when you're talking about resistances in East Africa, that's what we imply. We have the primary resistance and the secondary resistance. So what comes to your mind when you're talking about the secondary resistance? Hope the light is not affecting us. So here, now on the point of land, how do we put up the point of land? Okay, how do you put up the point of land? The point of land, if it is a primary resistance, we will say the need to protect their land. All they fought, all the resistance happened because the Africans wanted to preserve their land. Are you getting it? Or we can still say the Africans wanted to fight for their land. Are you getting it? But when it is secondary, we say they wanted to get back their lost land. They wanted to regain their land. They wanted to retain their land. Okay? To the point of independence, in the primary aspect, how do we talk about it? We said Africans wanted to protect their independence. This implies that they were independent and their independence still belonged to them. It was not taken by anybody or at any cost. So it means that independence still belonged to them. So in the primary aspect, we'll say they are fighting to protect, or they are fighting to maintain, or they are fighting to preserve their independence. Okay? When it comes to secondary, and at the point of independence, what do we talk about it? We say the Africans were fighting to regain back their independence, or to retain. You can say regain, or you can say retain, or you can even say to get back. Because we said in secondary resistance, here things are taken, they are yours, they are taken, so you want to get them back. So you'll find yourself that the independence was taken and they want to get back their lost independence. Are you getting it? So this implies the same to culture, the same points or the same wordings cut across. So this implies that in the secondary resistance, things are lost. Okay? Things are lost. They are yours, but they are taken away. They are lost. So you are fighting to get back what is yours. Here in primary, you still have, okay? You still have your things. You have your independence, you have your land, you have everything. So it has not been taken away by any creature or by any human being. So now, we come to the questions, or we come back to the rebellions. Hope these ones are clear. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, now we are going to the rebellions to identify which one is positive, which one is primary, and which one is secondary. Which one is primary and which one is secondary. Okay, so when you come to this aspect of differentiating between the primary and the secondary resistance, it depends. So when you come, because you have got to know now how we are going to write the points in case the questions are given to us depending on those aspects. So when you come to the Abushiri, okay, the Abushiri rebellion, it was a primary resistance. Okay, the Ehe rebellion was a primary resistance. The Majimaji was a secondary resistance. The Nandi was a primary resistance, and the Mau Mau was a secondary resistance. Okay, so these are the 5. This implies what comes to our mind. We have 3 rebellions in Tanzania or in Tanganyika. This is Tanganyika, and then these 2 are for Kenya. So what comes to your mind? That when it comes to Tanzania, one rebellion or one resistance is what? Is secondary, okay? Which is the Majimaji. which means others. These others are all primary. When it comes to Kenya, one is primary, one is secondary. And it is easy. Mau Mau is easy to be identified as a secondary resistance because these people are fighting for independence. The same happens to Maji Maji. Okay? They wanted to rejuvenate themselves from the rule of the foreigners. So, what else do we need to know about rebellions? We need to know the years or the time frame when these rebellions happened. Okay, the time frame, because sometimes they don't ask that Abushiri. They ask depending on the time frame, the year of the rebellion. How did it happen in this year? What led to the causes of this rebellion in 18 this? Are you getting it? So what comes to your mind? Okay, we're looking at the years now. The Abushiri rebellion. This is 1888. Okay, to 1890. Are we there? The second one is the Ehe. The Ehe rebellion is 1890 to 1898. Okay, up they are flowing. The Maji Maji, this is 1905 to 1907. That is the Maji Maji. So that is Tanzania. When you look at the years, how they are moving, it means one happened after the other. Okay? So what comes to our mind, in case the question is coming? Okay? A rebellion set within the 18 years. Okay? This is the 19th century. 1888, 1890, are you getting it? What comes to our mind? We are looking now for these last ones. In case they say from this year to this year. If they don't put the from, then put your mind here. 1880, that is Abushiri. 1890, are you getting it? 1890, that is the Hehe rebellion. Someone else should be, we're going to explain them as we're going through. Then, when it comes to this one, it is in 19, which means that one is open and very free to know what is there. The 1900 or 1905, that was the Maji Maji rebellion. So that is Tanzania. When you come to Kenya, this is 1895, okay, to 1905. Then for the Mau Mau, that is 1946. This one happened in 1946 to 1956. These are 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 8 years, and 2 years of fighting. Okay? So, the same will be easy when it comes to Kenya. If at all the question is giving us a year of 18, it implies that we are talking about the Nandi resistance, which is a primary resistance. When the question goes beyond 18 to 1940s, that implies that we're talking about the Mau Mau rebellion or the Mau Mau resistance. Okay? Hope we are clear on that, on those aspects. Are we clear on those aspects? Before I move back to Businje,
Yes.
okay, so if those ones are clear, Because these are some of the easiest things you are supposed to attempt when it comes to questions in East Africa. I don't expect anyone to leave a question of a rebellion when it is there and you suffer with another question. Okay? These are some of the easiest questions you are supposed to be attempting. So, if you are going to know about those, now a question may be formed and they say, what were the causes? Okay? What were the causes of the 1888 revolution or rebellion or resistance in Tanganyika? Are we there? What were the causes of the 1888 revolution in Tanganyika? Openly, because they have not put the word Abushiri, but to have the year in our mind, in our heads. So if you have this year, it is easy to connect that. If we are talking about 1888, we are moving to the Abushiri rebellion. Are you getting it? So I expect you to write and give us points concerning the Abushiri rebellion, not anything else. Okay? So from there, we know whatever happened in Tanganyika, whatever happened here, it was under, or Tanzania was under the German, the German rule. Okay? And whatever happened in Kenya, it was the British rule. Okay? Which means this implies that the Africans were fighting against the Germans with their German rule. And this side, the Africans were fighting the British with their British rule in East Africa. So that's how we handle the rebellions in East Africa. Okay? Businja had told me to go back to the second one, the primary. I don't know if now they are fine or we still go back to them. Businja, I'm waiting for your response. Are they fine or we get a wrap up of them?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
They are fine, eh?
Yes.
Okay. That is good then. So hope we have now got what we need in the resistances. We may not go deep in the points because the points are easy, but what we need is to understand what is required of this. Are you getting it? Because when you know that this is how it is, the points are easy to put down on paper and try it. Okay? Those are the easy things to do in life. So I think all those are done. Okay? All those are, because this is what we need. And by the way, this table or this organization, we have organized this thing from here to here. We can easily get our introductions, the 2 marks introductions, direct from this. Are you getting it? If they set a question and they say, let me get a question here. This last year there was nothing like a question of rebellions in the paper. Would have used that, but it was not there. So what happened? They can set a question. I don't want to use Abushiri. They may say, what led to the conflict between Mkwawa and the Germans, okay, What led to the conflict between Mukwawa and the Germans between 1890 and 1898? Okay, what led to the conflict between Mukwawa and the Germans between 1890 and 1898? The response is easy. We have the answers already that talk about this, 1890 to 1898. So if we talk about 1890 to 1898, because you know this year, we are going to connect that we are going to talk about the Ehe rebellion, which implies the name stated in the question of Mukwawa becomes the lead of the rebellion or the lead of the revolt. So what do we put now? What do we put up? How do we get our introduction? Okay, we get an introduction and say the conflict between Mukwawa and the German rule was referred to as the Ehe rebellion. Are we there? Was referred to as the Ehe rebellion. And this rebellion started due to the German imperialism in Tanganyika against the Africans. Okay, so that's how we do those questions, and that's how we move with it. I was saying that one gives us something very easy for us to put down on paper, so that we can write and give an introduction of each and everything. In case they said about this, don't forget to talk about German rule. Okay, we are fighting against the German rule. Don't forget to talk about the year. Okay, in case the year is not there in the question, they can say what were the causes of the Maji-Maji rebellion, and the full stop is there. Okay, they just say what were the causes of the Maji-Maji rebellion, and they stop there. If they do like that, what do we put in mind? We come and explain the year when the Maji-Maji rebellion took place. Okay, and we say the Maji-Maji rebellion took place between 1905 and 1907. There are 2 years of fighting, and the Africans, or the people of Tanganyika, were fighting against the German rule or the German imperialism. You have already earned your 2 marks. You've talked about the year. There is a mark for that fact of the year. You've talked about them fighting against the German rule, which is also a fact in history. Okay, so hope everything is clear. Okay, hope we have exhausted at least most of it. Talk about the primary resistance and the secondary resistance in East African history. But the same knowledge which is here, will apply it when it comes to South African history. And I talk about the Namahero rebellion, the Bambata, among others, because they will be required, or will be required to write on them and in the same aspect, the way we have talked about them here. Okay, hope everything is fine and clear about the rebellions, unless when there is any burning question on the rebellion. Any burning question on the rebellion which is not clear? Any burning question which is not clear, you tell us, and we ambush it. I want to leave the rebellions when everyone is conversant with them, so that in case of anything, okay, you never know. Last year the number was not there. How sure are we that you not receive it in your name come your year? Because it was tricky. If it was not there last year, and it missed 2 years without coming. You want to include the leaders of the rebellions.
Yeah.
My space is done.
Yeah.
Eh? My space is done. Oh, people put down the years and the format of the rebellion, whether it is primary or secondary, because I'm going to rub off that aspect and we put the years and we put the leaders there. Have we put that down? So someone is talking about to repeat the example of an introduction. I said an introduction depends on the question. Okay. Yes, Arab, your hand is up. Arab, your hand is up. I think it's okay. Okay, if it is fine.
But it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. Okay, you just tapped there.
Yeah, they are okay.
Anyway, so someone talked about repeating the example. Whitney, I was saying, depending on the question, how it is said, that's when we get the right example to use in the introduction. Are you getting it? If the question comes and they say, why did the Africans fight against the British in 1895? Why did the Africans fight against the British in 1895? This is the year they have given us. They have not given us the name of the rebellion. So as we are going to mark, the person who set the question implied that he wants you to talk about the name of the rebellion or the name of the revolt. So in your introduction, we expect you to write and say, the revolt between the Africans and the British in 1895 was referred to as the Nandi resistance. Are you getting it? Was referred to as the Nandi resistance. So from there, that's when you explain and give us in another fact who was the head or who was the leader of the Nandi resistance. And this aspect, you tell us the Nandi resistance was led by Koitare Arab Samoei. Are you getting it? Because that was he was part of the leaders of the Nandi. Or if that one is hard, you can talk about Okoriot Kimunyore. Okay, he was also a leader under the Nandi aspect. Are you getting it? So that is how we give our introduction. If in the introduction they give out the name of the resistance, in most cases, they will not give you the years in that question. They'll say, what were the causes of the Nandi resistance in Kenya? Or they may not even put there Kenya. And they say, what were the causes of the Nandi resistance? Full stop. So in your introduction, we expect you to give us the leaders of the Nandi resistance. We expect you to tell us the year when the Nandi resistance took place. Are you getting it? You tell us the year when the Nandi resistance took place. So if you tell us the year when it took place, that is when you come and tell us even the place and tell us that the Nandi resistance was fought or it happened in Western Kenya. Okay, so those are three facts. You've told us the year of the Nandi. You've told us the place or the area where the resistance happened, which is Western Kenya. And then you have even gone further and told us about the leaders of the Nandi resistance. So that implies that you have given us three facts in the introduction. And remember, the introduction carries two marks. So already have your 2 marks in that introduction. And that's how it moves in life. And that's how you're supposed to put it down. Okay? So hope that the introduction part is okay. Not so? If it is okay there, then
Yes.
we go to the aspect of Mercy talked about the leaders. So this one I'm going to remove, and we talk about now the leaders. When you come to some resistances, we have more than one. Okay? Because in some aspects, like the question I posed against the Ehe, we didn't talk about the Ehe, we talked about the Ya, but we talked about the leader of the Ehe, who was Chief Mukwawa. And we say, why did Mukwawa fight against the Germans against the Germans? We talked about in 1890 to 1898. Are you getting it? So we talked about the leader. The question talked about the leader, not the rebellion. But the good thing there was there. So when we come now to the leaders of these rebellions, okay? When we come to Abushiri, there we have the name Abushiri. The leader was Abushiri bin Salim. Okay? Abushiri bin Salim. And his counterpart, who was called Bwana Heri. So these were the 2 leaders of the Abushiri rebellion, or the Abushiri resistance. When you come to the Ehe, there is played was Chief Mukwawa. Okay? The Ehe, their leader was Chief Mukwawa. Okay? So that one he was alone, and he managed to control the resistance for over 8 years. When you come to the Majimaji resistance, okay, we had in the Majimaji resistance, we had Kinjekitile.
I can't see the board.
You don't see the what? You're not seeing the board. About someone saying, I'm not seeing, you're not seeing something. What are you not seeing? We'll continue.
Stop.
Yes, we'll continue. Like I was saying, the leader of the rebellion for Majimaji was called Kinjekitile Ngwale. Was called Kinjekitile Ngwale. That's why he was a medicine man. That's why we have that word Majimaji. They refer to it as magic water. Okay, they got water from the Ngarambe Hills, mixed them with millet and other herbs, which is medicine, and they smeared themselves. Okay, because the medicine man who was Chinjiptire Ngware told them the moment you mix those herbs, okay, with millet and you add the water from the Ngarambe Hills, okay, you are going to, when they shoot, the bullet will melt. When the Germans are shooting, the bullet will melt. So that's what happened to them. So that's why it was referred as the Maji rebellion, referring to it as the magic water by that time. So this was the leader of the Maji rebellion. We talk about the Nandi, we've talked about Koitare, okay, Koitare Arab Samoei, okay, who was the leader, and Okoyot. And Okoyot Kimnyore, okay, and Okoyot Kimnyore. So those were the leaders of the Nandi also, okay, of the Nandi resistance, and that's how they moved on. And lastly, we have the Majimaji. For the Majimaji, because it was a big resistance in Kenya taking place, that many
Mau.
It implied that because Mau Mau was big and it took over 10 years, they had many, because Kenya is big, and they have to unite to fight their common enemy, that many leaders. Okay, we had Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Okay, so look at this one, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. You have heard of Raila Odinga, not so? Okay, you have heard of Raila Odinga, who contested with the Kenyatta in the previous elections, not so? So that one is the son to this one, okay? Is the son to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, okay? So that was the first one. When you come to the second one is Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta, okay? So that was the second leader under the Mau Mau rebellion. Jomo Kenyatta, you know the history of the Kenyattas in Kenya, okay? That's even the recent president, as per now, the one who is there, okay, is also from the Kenyatta family. Are we there? So from there, we had James Gichuru. Hope the name will be seen, yes. We have James we have James Gichuru. James Gichuru was also among the leaders who enforced the Mau Mau rebellion to take place in Kenya. And lastly, under the Mau Mau, we had Tom Mboya. Okay, so those were the four leaders who managed to cause and to take part and to unite the Kenyans in the fight against the British imperialism or the British rule in Kenya. Okay, so those were the 4 human beings who did the rest. I can't see James's name. James is here. You can see it. James Gichuru. Okay. After Jomo Kenyatta, James Gichuru is there. Then you have Tom Mboya. I couldn't put Tom Mboya down because it would be hard for you to see the name. So that is it about it. So those are rebellions. Okay, those are rebellions. 1, we know the places or the areas where they are fighting from, and we know the people they are fighting against. Okay, this was Tanganyika, and they're fighting against the German rule. This was Kenya, and they're fighting against the British rule. The rebellions are here. These are the leaders. We looked at the status of the rebellion. Okay, which one was primary, which one was secondary. Okay, after there, we looked at the years when these rebellions happened to take place. Okay, because they can be set in the format of years other than being set in a format of which each and everyone is expecting them to be. Okay, because people expect Abushiri to find their causes of Abushiri. What was the organization of the Abushiri rebellion? Effects of the Nandi rebellion. Sometimes they don't happen like that. Okay, sometimes questions are twisted so that we see whether you read deep into the content of the question or you didn't read that much and you are just doing a kind of guesswork when we are marking. So that is it. In introduction, you give the leader of the resistance, you give the resistance, you give where they're fighting, the rule they're fighting against. Then you talk about the years. We looked at the years there. So all that comes back to our introduction part of it. And at least we enter the exam knowing that we have some marks for the intro, for the introduction. So hope the rebellions are covered. Okay? Hope the rebellions are covered and everything is moving on, and everything is moving on well. Unless when there is any other question we are looking at, because even time is not on our side. We have 7 minutes. The clock is ticking. We have 7 minutes to the end of it. So in case of any burning question about rebellions, hope you bring it out and you clear it, because you don't look at it again unless when time comes for senior 4 and we are doing some revision, or even in questions which are being set just for revision purposes, after exams, after tests, after mocks, before we go to attack our final papers. So that is it. Any question? Can see me talk about their conclusions. Yes, that is one. Any other question? I feel like we should tackle. I'm having only one question about the conclusion aspect of it, about the conclusion part of it. So, is it okay? We move to the conclusion?
Yes.
Okay. So if I'm moving to the conclusion, I'm going to rub off this. Okay? Because we have used it to the maximum. Okay? It is not required now. Because when you are talking about the conclusion, we will not need this at any minute when we're in the paper. Okay? So conclusion. Conclusions. Okay? How do you conclude? To conclude, what you have to put in mind that it depends on the question. It depends on the question which has been set in part B. Okay? It depends on the question which has been set in part B, not in part A. In part A, we introduce, and I've given you the aspect of introduction. In part B, that's when we conclude. We have the following questions. We have the following questions which can be set in part B. Okay. 1. Of the aspect of organization. How were these rebellions organized? Okay. We anticipate if question A is about the causes, question B may be organization, or it may be effects of the rebellion. Okay. If they are not effects of the rebellion, they'll talk about the failure of the rebellion. Why did the rebellion fail? Okay. Or they can talk about, if it's not about the failure of the rebellion, they may talk about why did it take long? Why did it take long? And in this aspect, about this last one, it is mostly in the Maji and the Mau Mau and even the rebellion of Chief Mukwawa, which took more than 8 years. Okay? The AA took 8 years, that is 1890 to 1898. Then you have the Maji, okay? The Maji, which is over 10 years. That is Mau Mau, which is 1946 to 1956. Okay, that was 10 years. Then we can still talk about the Nandi, because for it took 5 years. Okay, so those are the aspects. Those are the possible aspects of setting part B of the question. Still, this organization can be set in part A. Okay, mostly in part A, they set causes of the rebellion or organization of the rebellion. Then in part B, that's where you'll find all these aspects. Are you getting it? So, how do you conclude now on each of the following here? Okay, we are moving now to the conclusion part of it. When the conclusion about organization, okay, when the conclusion is about organization, the wordings may not fit here, okay, but we will say the organization, okay, or the rebellion was organized politically. Mostly I tell people, don't think that this word in conclusion, therefore it is, you're over repeating yourself. It's the word you are supposed to use, okay? Feel free to use it the way you want. Even if you repeat it on all the 4 questions, it is fine because you are concluding. Are you getting it? So, use that word mostly, okay? Use the word In conclusion, therefore, are we getting it? That's when you get to know that you are concluding. In conclusion, therefore, the organization of the Abshir rebellion was political, economic, and social. Okay? Or it was organized politically, socially, and economically. Full stop. That is enough. Okay? You earn yourself a mark. And that is the aspect of the organization. And I know I tell people, if all in all, you can't remember other aspects in concluding, those are the points which cut across all these aspects, okay? Politically, socially, and economically, okay? You can say the effects of the rebellions were political, social, and economic in nature. You have concluded. The failure or the factors for the failure of the rebellion were political, social, and economic in nature. Are you getting it? The reasons or the factors why the rebellion took long, it was because of their political, the social, and economic organization of the fighting parties. Are you getting it? So that is all, okay? If you can't remember the other aspects, because where I'm giving you this political, social, and economic, because this one cuts across, okay? Because this one cuts across. This one can be used in all aspects of any number of a conclusion. Because the effects will be political, the problems will be political, the failures will be political, in the government organization, it will be political. Are you getting it? So these aspects cut across, which is not the same on some other defined aspects of conclusions, like negative and positive. There is no organization which is negative and positive. Are you getting it? There are no problems which are positive and negative. Are you getting it? So effects are the ones which are positive and negative. Some aspects are long-term and short-term. Those are problems, okay? And even some effects are long-term and short-term. So depending on the question twist, okay? Depending on the question twist, you use this aspect, okay? Political, economic, and social. Those who want to do more about them, I don't know, it is a bit clear there, okay? Those are the conclusion aspects. Everything is defined in that aspect. So this is just a summary book, and some of you have it, okay? It can help you referring back to what is there, but mostly this is what...
Teacher, which book is that?
This is my summary book, okay?
Is it like ours?
Oh, the other one you gave us for East Africa.
Like a small one that's green.
Yeah, the small one is green, okay? So it has that aspect of conclusion on the last page, okay? How do we conclude in all aspects? But you'll find yourself that in all aspects there, the political, social, and economic cuts across, and that's what is the best to be used, not to overthink of each and everything or the wordings to use. So that's how we do the conclusion part of it. Baketo was talking about how the rebellion is organized. That one is a long story of how they organized, because there are 5 of them, and every rebellion is organized differently depending on their areas of existence and the areas of the areas of fighting. For the Kenya, that the Aberdare Forest, then the Kikuyu land, the mountainous areas, etc. The Nandi were in Western Kenya, They used to do the hit and run. That is still under the organization. When you come to the Hehe in Tanzania, still the same. The Majimaji, we talked about the Ngarambe Hills, the Magic Water, how they did everything, come to the bulletin, what and the rest. So the organization part of it is all about you reading and understanding how these rebellions took place, okay? But the gist of it all was to know how do we answer these rebellion questions? What do we require of them? How do we know that this is a rebellion they are setting in the question, not the one I'm thinking of, okay? So they set the year, remember, connect the year to the rebellion, to the personality, and to the area where that rebellion was also taking place. So that's how we do the questions of a rebellion in East Africa. And I told you the same knowledge we have here applies to those rebellions in South Africa, because they are all rebellions. They are all fighting against the white rule, okay? And most so, by the way, they are fighting against the British rule when it comes to South Africa, okay? For East Africa, in Tanzania, we had the Germans. In Kenya, we had the British. In South Africa, by the time of the Bambata rebellion, the Namahero rebellion, where the British rule taking over and taking place in South Africa. So it means the same knowledge you're supposed to apply here is the same knowledge you're applying in South Africa, okay? So that is how we go by the conclusions in the rebellion aspect of it. And that is it, unless anything else. If not, we are going to call it a day for today here. And maybe...
Teacher.
Yes?
Teacher, can you do a
Teacher.
rebellion question without knowing the years?
To do the conflict, to do the rebellions without knowing the years.
No.
Yeah.
That implies, I'm seeing Bakit and Arab, the hands are up. I want to answer Arab's question, talking about can we do the rebellions without knowing the years? On your side, that will be guesswork, because you may fail to write the introduction. Anyway, in the introduction, you may lose 2 marks depending on the answers you're going to write down. If the answers are corresponding to B for the primary resistance, and the question was also giving us a primary resistance, then it is fine. You'll get the marks, okay? It is not like, it's not like for the steps taken in the abolition of slave trade or the Portuguese rule or administration. We talk about the years in their sequence. This is just a question. You can decide to give us the year in the introduction, or if you don't know the year, you leave it out and give us other facts of the rebellion. And you still get the same marks of the introduction if you put it in place. It's not necessary that you're supposed to put the year there, okay? It's not necessary that you're supposed to put the year, but the year is required in case you want to get a mark for the introduction and you have forgot about all other facts, okay? So that's when the year becomes crucial and on point when that aspect comes in. Yes, Bakit, your hand was up.
No, teacher, I've understood.
Yeah, okay, so it was upon the same. So that's how the things are supposed to be done. Any other question? If there is no any other question, we call it a day for today, and we enjoy the rest of the day. We meet next week, and we'll be in South Africa, okay, on that day, and we'll see what we will tackle on that day, because I'm seeing many. We may go through some of them. If we are to handle wars, we'll handle them as wars. They will have handled rebellions in this aspect, okay? So that we get them as a bunch and we understand what is required out of them. Have a nice day and a nice morning. All the best.